And there we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Let me just check the image. Everything looks perfect. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Fabio Marques, and this is Fabulous with Fabio, the talk show that shows how fabulous we can be. And today I have a fabulous guest. His name is Justin Noppe, and we're going to know everything about him. We're going to know everything about his personality, how he became the fabulous person he is right now, his vision for the future, his main message, what we can learn from him, and of course, the action steps we can take today to make a difference. This interview is a live, no cuts, no post-production. It's raw as life is. There was no rehearsal, no pre-sent questions, so we never know how we're going to go with this. So this is really full transparency. As we are talking now, it's how you're perceiving Justin Noppe. And this interview can be also listened to later in our podcast, Powerful Insights for Business. So without further ado, welcome to our show, Mr. Justin Noppe. How are you doing today?
Yeah, thank you for that introduction. I'm doing great, thanks. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm fabulous. And now I'm super happy because you're here with us.
Yeah.
And I know you are a special coach and speaker when we're talking about leadership. How you can manage stress, be emotionally efficient and more productive, and how you help organizations and leaders to be more human and more productive at the same time. So now we're going to start talking about you first, okay? What is your story? How did you become the person you are right now? Tell us a little bit about you and your purpose in life, your mission.
Sure. Yeah. It's so interesting that this kind of question always gets you to ask, where do I start? And I think a good place to start is always going to be what's your philosophy about why we are here? And I think that's the biggest question that I can answer is my philosophy for why we are here is to add something to the human race so that the human race as a whole, as a species, we can get better and we can evolve. And the fastest way, in my opinion, to do that is by targeting key people who lead communities. And a leader, who is most people think leaders are like, oh yeah, Tim Cook or, Steve Jobs, these guys are leaders. And I'm like, yes, sure. But you know what? Anybody is a leader. Anybody is a leader inside a community, inside a group of people, in the right context. Anyone steps up to be a leader. And it's a joke that I say, if I put you in a group of 9-year-old children, you will automatically assume a leadership position, automatically. And so it's the idea of if you target a leader and if you're able to impact the leader will teach the culture to everyone in the community as well. And so it's really the key point. So that is my purpose in life, is empowering leaders to be stronger so that the community is stronger, so that the species is stronger.
That's amazing. We have that in common because I also believe that leaders have this amazing power and privilege to be the guiding star for so many people, right? Not everybody had the best parents or the best teachers growing up. And the leader many, many times is the one that will really correct the problems that were not resolved before, and maybe transform lives of those people they lead and create new leaders later to keep evolving and enhancing society. I really
100%. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite quotes is that leaders create better leaders.
Yeah. There's a song by John Michael Montgomery. I don't know if you like country music, but John Michael Montgomery once said, life's a dance. You learn as you go. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, right?
Yeah.
So we all can lead, we all can follow, but it's always a choice. And we can choose to be leaders that will help everybody make this world a better place for everybody. So
100%. Yeah.
Thank you for doing what you're doing, man.
No way. Thank you. And it's something interesting about that is that it also sounds like when we talk like this, that we're selling leaders as servitude, and a lot of leaders don't like that because it's not a very empowering thing. And I think that the flip side of that is that the type of training, like in particular that I do, is all about like fulfillment from that position as a leader. So as a leader, maybe you feel stressed or, whatever. but you know, you can see your position as something that actually feeds your soul. You know, it really makes you feel like what you're doing is purposeful, it has meaning, and you are connected. And that's the flip side of it, is that it's very empowering to develop as a leader as well.
Do you remember when was the moment when you had that click that told you, that's what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to help people choose to be leaders and that inspire other people. When was that click? Then you had that, okay, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life.
um, I'll be honest with you. I'm still waiting for that particular click, because it's quite interesting. My background is actually as a language teacher, right? So I used to teach English in London, at like the top school in London. Like, it's one of the best language institutes in the European Union. And then I started doing really well and traveling the world. And, you know, I lived in Thailand, I lived in France, I lived in Indonesia and Argentina. And, you know, I was sent to Brazil, you know, to go and do promotions for the British government. And I was sent to Poland. And basically the end of like my career as a language teacher, I came to this place where I asked the question, like, what are we doing? We're basically selling books. That's all that we're doing, is we're selling books. We're not actually trying to solve problems for people. And so I then went sideways and I started, how can we solve these problems? So I started developing a lot of my own theories about and research around language learning, around specifically around how does cognition function and the neuroanatomy of memory, essentially. And through that, I started giving instruction to people in language learning. And I found that the people who really wanted to go deeper, the people who were not just satisfied with the surface, were always these people who were executives. And I functioned very well with them because they didn't want just the normal nonsense. They wanted something that was much more powerful. And they really wanted the skills. They wanted to bring on all those skills. And I was like, these are the types of people that I want to work with. And it wasn't necessarily just like, oh, I want to work with leaders. It's a profile of a person who wants to improve. And so I think when I started doing that with languages, then I realized, oh, wait, a lot of the success of this person is tied up in their emotional baggage as well, in their perspectives of how they expect something to actually be. And so I started adjusting my training according to that. And eventually it started to work in terms of like, wait, most leaders haven't actually been trained how to lead. They've actually just been power vacuumed up into management, into leadership positions. And then they have a lot of these false expectations or false beliefs. And so from there, it developed, and essentially like taking and transplanting my skills with communication into leadership training has actually been the greatest strength. You know, because one could argue like, oh, I don't have the experience with leadership, but actually I have experience with communication and I have experience with perspective. And that's really what I help people with there. And I like that a lot. Yeah. And so, yeah, that was it.
Use language to lead, not only to communicate, but to lead, right? So 100. You are a language expert that migrated to communication expert in leadership. So you really help leaders find their voice and how to communicate their ideas so they can make an impact, they can make a difference, they can help people be more productive and happy where they are, right?
That's it. I mean, think about it like this. People are happier, healthier, more productive when they're doing things that actually fulfill their needs and matter to them. And so as a leader, it's this idea of helping people to address and ask them what matters. Okay, let me help you, let me support you. And the loyalty that comes back is phenomenal. I think the one statistic that really just blows my mind when I think about it is that there is no measurement to be able to tell if a leader is a good or a bad leader, except for high turnover. People will leave if there's a bad leader, but people will stay. So essentially you're measuring loyalty. A good leader breeds loyalty. Why? Because people feel fulfilled.
Yeah. You know, I really think you're fabulous because my first management position, my first leadership position, I was 21 years old. And I was in charge of a department leading people with 35, 40, 45 years old, right? And I didn't have more experience than they had. I didn't have more knowledge than they did. I only had communication. That was my only tool to really lead them. And we were able to get everybody. We had zero turnover rate for 5 years, the entire time I was there. And we grew from 2% market share to 87% market share, just because I was able to communicate with them in a way they felt loved, appreciated, respected, valued, and they did their very best to fulfill their dreams. And I made that department, that business unit, like a vehicle for them to fulfill their dreams and aspirations. So I was like the facilitator, right? Instead of being just the boss, I was there to facilitate their progress, facilitate their evolution, facilitate their happiness. And they were very loyal to me and loyal to our clients. It was an amazing experience. And the origin of this book here, right? Fabulous Management Simplified, was because of that. So I really, I am 100% in everything you're saying. And of course, I'm paying more attention to my words now, because English is my second language, and you are expert in English. Oh my God. Right? Now I feel the pressure of, am I speaking correctly here?
No, não faz mal.
No faz mal, because you speak Portuguese as well. Great. All right. So let's keep moving, man, because I really understand now, very, very clear to me, that you came from this intense experience in using language to connect with people, and then transform your experience into something special in terms of how you train and inspire leaders to use their communication in a more effective way, so they can really connect with people and create this loyalty environment, so people give their best, right? Do their best. In terms of vision, let's say the entire world is listening to you right now. Let's say everybody's listening, everybody's really paying attention. And let's say everybody gives you a chance to show them, right, what you're trying to teach them or help them achieve. Let's say the entire world goes through your courses. Let's just imagine an entire world goes through your courses, your workshops, your training workshops, whatever, and they finally get it, right? How would our world be if all leaders could understand what you're trying to teach them?
Wow. I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I would be lying if I said I believe that the world would change completely. You know, I'm not a person who believes that fighting is wrong, but I believe conflict resolution is incredibly important. So there would be still fights, sure, but people would not hold grudges. People would be able to communicate and confront these. You know, it's this open, honest, concise communication. So open, it must be transparent. Essentially, you need to know what I'm thinking. I need to know what you're thinking, and we need to trust each other. That honest is part of that as well. And then concise, meaning let's not talk about it for 15 years. Let's talk about it as much as we need to and accept it, you know, and that type of thing comes from, emotional stability as well. So like part of my coaching experiences with couples sometimes, you know, and coaching couples on how to communicate, how to fight fair. You know, it's not about like, oh, just suck it up and let that person win because they're in more pain or because they're right and you're wrong, or it's nothing like that. So I think that it would change the world, you know, as an understatement. And then, you know, if I think best case scenario, it means that we would, okay, how about this? if our needs are met completely, that means that we would never like want the expensive car to show off to feel valuable and validated. Our needs are like our need for other people to look at us and to make us feel accepted. That wouldn't be based on stuff. That would be based on our relationships, our communication. So yeah, our culture of like, let's say consumerism, the excess of consumerism gone, you know, and perhaps there would be more of an investment in the community. Like, how can I give back to my local community? How can I give back to these groups? Because that really makes me feel good and empowered and strong to see others flourishing. So, you know, that's
amazing, man. And I believe you 100%, you know. Maybe I am a living proof of what you're saying, because after that experience, when I had to lead those people and I had to lead through effective communication, emotional stability, and really be mature about my situation with them and giving them space to grow. I never felt the need of any material thing to feel great about myself.
Yeah.
I feel great about myself when I feel that I'm helping. I'm helping people grow and succeed and be happier. I feel, amazed with people are just evolving. It's evolution for me is happiness.
Yeah.
So, and I know how powerful we can be if we become true leaders that really embrace this mission of helping people grow and succeed. The happiness we feel, the fulfillment, it's amazing. And that's why I'm with you 100%. I think you're completely right. We will be a different world. People will know how to discuss, topics and without losing, right, their minds. They will be in control of their emotions and having healthy conversations, and everybody would grow.
100%. And that's it. Yeah. And that's why, to your point earlier on, you said that you're watching your words. There are two approaches to like linguistics, right? There's like the semantics and the pragmatics. Like, what is the word that you choose to use versus what is your intention behind the word? And as soon as I finished my master's degree, I stopped listening to what is the word exactly that people are using. And instead, I started listening to what is the intention behind this. And as soon as I started listening to the intention, like 90% of my stress just disappeared. Like, I didn't care what word they used. I was listening and I was like, oh, you're just saying that you want this thing. That's it. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, sure. Let me help you. So I think that there's something in there about translating people's actual vocabulary into what do they want? Why say a sentence? And that's actually how I teach people how to be like faster learners with anything. Like, there's never a correct sentence or a correct word. It always depends. But you can have better communication by asking, what is the feeling that this person is communicating with?
I was once teaching this class about listening, right, to one of my clients. And there are 3 levels of listening, right? Level 1, 2, and 3. One is just listening to the words, but most people are listening, just waiting for the right moment to interfere, right? And to answer back or to say something. This is not level 1. Everybody can do this. Level 2 is when you're really listening, and not only listening to the words, but trying to sense the tone of voice, the body language, and so you're really listening, paying attention, trying to understand. And level 3 is what you're saying, not only sensing tone of voice, body language, and listening to the words carefully, but understanding how that person is feeling, right? So this is super powerful, because when we really listen in level 3 with the intention of understanding the intention of the other human being and what are the feelings behind that, what is happening inside their head or in their hearts, right? That is showing that behavior, that attitude, or producing those words. We become more confident. We become calmer, and we really become able to process that communication in a more effective way and avoid misunderstandings, avoid unnecessary friction, because we really relax while listening. And we don't feel obligated to agree. We don't feel obligated to align. We just accept what's coming into our direction, understand it, and showing compassion with the other human being in front of us. We try to be as clear as we can when we communicate back, so we promote like convergence instead of divergence.
Yeah.
Maybe I spoke too much about it.
No, but beautifully said. I was like,
I'm just trying to put,
yeah, no, there's nothing else to say about that. Yeah, that's beautifully said. I think
now I want to give you a challenge, if I may.
Go for it. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, I'll give you a challenge. Let's say you are in front of an audience, 1,000 people. Okay.
Okay.
And they're all leaders. of individual contributors. Okay, they lead individual contributors. They don't lead leaders, they lead other people. They are individual contributors. And you know that this audience is having a hard time engaging their teams, hard time creating loyalty within their talents, and they're not really happy with themselves as leaders. What would be the one thing you would tell them that you believe would open their minds to a better way of being a leader? It's not going to solve the entire problem, but one thing that you would say to start opening their minds so they would start listening to you, and that would be the first statement you would say that would shake their heads a little bit and open space for you to continue coaching them.
I think I'm trying to find a good way to say it. I know the phrase that I'm looking for is something along the lines of, find a way to love your negative emotions. The concept here is that usually when I find managers that are frustrated within themselves and they're frustrated with their team, there's usually some kind of, catabolic emotion that's going on, some emotion that takes a lot of energy, it burns a lot of energy, it doesn't put them in a good place to be creative. And 99% of the time, people judge that emotion. They judge themselves. I'm angry, and being angry is bad. And this sucks. And I just can't, why am I so angry? Oh, I hate being angry. Or I'm frustrated. It's your fault, or it's my fault. And whenever this happens, there's that judgment.
You're right.
And for me, the way that I coach my clients is, hey, we need to learn to love those emotions. Those emotions are pattern responses to stress that were put in you since you were a kid, right? 0 to 10 years old, you've got the survival one appealing to your guardians. 10 to 25, you've got these social ones that are appealing to your social peer group to look good in front of others, but they're all survival. They're all about how do I show others that I'm valuable? And the stress responses that come out are usually immature stress responses. But the thing is, and this is what I introduce to people, is that love them because they love you. They are trying to protect you. They are idiots, but they are well-meaning, well-intended idiots. They're trying to protect you from what they think is a dangerous environment. And that stress response, learning to love it and then learning to give it a good job instead of just allowing the idiot to, can you imagine if you allowed someone, what's a good way to do this? Let's say that you allowed your child to cook every meal for you. Let's just say that you would not be eating a rich and diverse diet. You'd be eating the diet that they just feel like at that moment: ice cream, chips, burgers, whatever. And the idea is that's similar to what's happening in a stress response. If you are only listening to an emotion that is that old, or that is limited by perception, that is not very wise or experienced in its perception, you're not going to get that diet of nutritious emotional interaction that you would get. So I think that's where I would start. It's learn to love your negative emotions.
I love that. And I imagine you saying in front of 1,000 people, guys, first thing I want to tell you guys is learn to love your negative emotions. And then you pause for 3 seconds. People start, what? And then you open their mind, right? Because it's amazing, because I really believe that you cannot influence other people unless you learn to influence yourself, right? You have to lead yourself first, learn how to lead yourself so you can lead other people.
That's it.
And a lot of people really try to be perfect, and that's why they fail as leaders. They think that as a leader, I have to look perfect to my subordinates, right? I have to look like I have no flaws, like I know everything. I don't have any negative emotion. I don't make mistakes. And that's, of course, it's impossible. So if they learn to accept positive and negative emotions as part of who they are, and then they in a more mature way, they decide what to do with that, right? They accept it, love them, decide what to do with them. They will be more truthful leaders, real people leaders, right? Not perfect, but real human beings leaders that are not not worried to look perfect all the time.
But that's it.
Right? And people connect better with other people, not superheroes that are or fake super, because a leader that tries to look perfect is a fake superhero.
100%.
Right? It's a
yeah.
fake superhero.
This
and
is my
people don't
favorite.
connect with fake superheroes. So
yeah.
The only way a normal person like you and me can be a true hero to our people is by being true.
Yeah.
Right?
Authentic.
Being real.
Yes.
And what you said allows that. If I learn how to love everything about me, even knowing I'm not perfect, if I learn how to love even my negative emotions and use them as a positive force to guide my actions and decisions, I will be a much better leader without losing my humanity.
That's it. There's a very interesting piece of research that was done about how good are people at detecting liars, and seeing if people are being authentic or not. And even people with like very low IQs, their ability to spot a liar was very, very good. And so this is the idea, like stop lying, stop projecting something that's not true or false, so that is, like, oh, I'm so scared, but I can't tell everybody. The people will detect. Humans are very good at detecting who the liars are, because it's a trait that makes the communities stronger, tighter, because of one thing. It creates safety and security in a group environment. So if I feel like I can come to you and I can be honest with you, I'm safe and secure in this. I'm not going to be judged, number one. So that makes me feel more accepted by the community. And it will also increase the amount that I will work for this community also. So, there's something about safety, security in there as well. And that if the leader is scared to be vulnerable in front of the group, to be honest in front of the group, then definitely there are going to be problems of safety, security with everybody else in the team as well.
And nobody will be honest and vulnerable in front of the group, because nobody feels safe to do it.
Exactly. There's a lot of detection going on of like, people are lying. It's clearly not a safe environment, So,
Great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw at you a second challenge now.
Oh my gosh.
You did so well in the first one. I want to. The second one is, now you are talking to another audience, another 1,000 people, but now they're leaders of leaders.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
They're leading other leaders. And you're about to give them an advice, how they can be a better leader of leaders. So you're going to share with us the first piece of your advice, the first statement you would say to those leaders of leaders to open their minds so they could be ready to learn how to be a better leader of leaders. And it has to be different from the first one.
No. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think this one is a lot easier. Maybe it's not as interesting as the first one, but I think it's pretty interesting. It's the idea that in my perception, when I see leaders, they're usually very competitive and they're very concerned that their leadership is going to be taken away from them or challenged in some way. And so this concept that I would say, the very simple piece of advice is that the people that are underneath you, who are leaders coming up, leaders of leaders, like, these are not your competition. It's that simple. These are like your children. That's it. Very simple. Because I think that that's got everything included in it, which is this idea of like, my job as a leader is actually to teach someone how to do something more effectively than I ever was taught how to do it as well. To help someone receive the benefits of all my knowledge, my experience as well. And the only thing that would get in the way of that is if a person came from a place of lack, where they felt, if I do this, somehow I'm giving away all the goodies, somehow my place is not going to be secure. Again, safety, security. You know, it comes back down to that. So I think that that's the number one thing that I would say there is these people are not your competitors. There is plenty of place for everyone.
You know, I like the concept because if they're leading leaders, right? Those people became leaders and for a reason. Most of the time, when you become a leader is because you were a good example of how to do things, right? Or how to behave.
Yeah.
So organizations put you in a leadership position, not necessarily they train you to be a good leader, but they put you as a leader because you were a good executor, you were doing things right in a way that the organization would like other people to role model, right?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, not everybody is ready to be a good leader. So if I'm talking to leaders of leaders, I really need to make them understand that the people they're leading, these new time leaders, they need support, they need guidance, they need a really to feel safe to be a good leader, because it's a different role, right? And there's this trick in their brains. They became leaders because they were good executors. And that's why most first-time leaders don't really become a leader. They just become a executor that has a higher salary and giving orders to other people. So leaders of leaders have to help the first-time leaders to really change their roles. Now you're safe to experiment how it is to be a leader. And I'm here, leader of leader, will help you. And the idea of treating them as children, not as just subordinates. Like, if they were my children, can I fire my children? No, right? Are you still there? Oh, I lost you for a second. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, just wait. We had a connection problem. Let me wait if Justin will connect again. This is live. This is live. So let's see if there is any communication from him here. And you hold on tight. You will probably connect again. Will he be able to connect again? Was there a power outage where he is? We don't know. Just hold on tight. And don't worry. If he's not able to reconnect, we will launch another interview to complete this one with Justin Noppe. Because that was really interesting, right? All right, let's give him 30 seconds more. And I'll try also to connect him through other channels I have. Twenty seconds. I'm talking today with Justin Noppe. And yes, I was correct. He got a power outage where he is. Lightning struck. A lightning struck his router. He's rebooting the router. Let us wait. And there he is. Oh my God. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry about that.
There you are. A lightning struck you? Or not you, but the router?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, sorry about that. Oh my goodness.
No.
Can you believe it?
No, we were doing something so special, so unique that a lightning stroke. They have. Yeah, I still cannot see you. I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Yeah, I'm working on. Yeah, I tried. I was like, oh my gosh, So what I did is I disconnected and I was like, oh, so let me get out my other
There you are.
microphone. I could do it on the phone instead
No,
of
that's all
on the
right. You're
computer.
back. You're
So
back. You're
yeah.
back. And I was telling everybody to wait for you because it was so interesting. We needed to wait. So here you are. Oh,
Okay.
are you there? Okay.
I'm there. Yeah.
So that's perfect. I was just concluding my thought here that I really believe we cannot fire our children, right? If we want to be their leaders and we want our children to be leaders of leaders, right? So we really invest in our children. We do everything we can to help them, to support them, to teach them, to help them grow. And our utmost climax of happiness is when we see our children as adults that are really good human beings and good leaders, right?
Oh, yeah.
So your advice to leaders of leaders is perfect. Treat your team of leaders as children you want to help succeed, as if they were your own. And that's amazing. Really
Yeah.
like that.
And you know what's interesting is that like maybe the resistance that some people would give to that is like, well, I don't know about that because of X, Y, and Z. But the older that we get, the more we find happiness and fulfillment. I don't put happiness and fulfillment into the same box, because happiness is like you're smiling and everything, but fulfillment is like that feeling of this is what life is about. And
Yeah.
so it doesn't have to be happiness. It could be something else, just like enjoyment with just breathing and savoring something. Anyway, in order to as a leader to really find fulfillment is about the investment of energy into other people and to see the success of others as well. So again, it's that double-edged sword. It's not just service, but it's also fulfillment for the individual. The more we invest in others, the more we find our needs start to be met.
You're right.
But we need to make sure that we're doing this out of our love for investment in others, not out of because we want someone to say something about us, like, oh, Justin's such a nice guy. Yes.
Yeah.
They said I'm a nice, like, I don't.
I lost you again, my friend. Internet is not as stable where you are right now. Let me send you a message. Ladies and gentlemen, be patient because it's worth it. Let me see if he can establish a better connection and we continue this interview. If not, we'll continue some other day, but let's try once more. It's worth it. This is live, no post-production, no cuts, no editing in this interview. That's why it's like real life. Like when you're having your meetings with other people, you may have this kind of problems as well. Just have to deal with that and keep the conversation going. So let us give him a few seconds to see if he can reestablish the connection so we can finish this interview in great style. All right, be patient with me. This is Fabulous with Fabio, the talk show that shows how fabulous we can be. And listen, if you want to be part of the show, just go fabulouswithfabio.com, fabulouswithfabio.com, and you're going to see the guidelines to be part of the show. You can schedule a discovery call first to see if you're a good fit for the show. If you'd like to be interviewed in the show, we can discuss all the guidelines about how to be a good guest in my show. And then, of course, later you can schedule your interview. Just go to fabulouswithfabio.com, fabulouswithfabio.com. You're going to be redirected to my magnainfluence.com website. It's going to be magnainfluence.com/talk show guidelines or something like that. Okay. And then you can schedule a discovery call with me or with one member of my team. And we're going to see if you're a good fit to be interviewed in my show next time. If you want also to increase or improve your influence skills, be alert to the Magna Influence Conference. Just go to magnainfluence.com, as you can see here next to my name, magnainfluence.com, and hit on live event, the future of influence. The next Magna Influence Conference will be soon. You're going to see all the information there. And we're going to talk also about the future of artificial intelligence and what is the role that AI plays in influencing other people ethically with total integrity. So magnainfluence.com, click on the future of influence, go to the live event, Magna Influence Conference, and register for our next meeting. And there he goes again. So coming back, Mr. Justin Noppe, just connecting. Just give him a few more seconds, and we'll be right back with us.
Oh my goodness.
No
Sorry,
worries, man.
There's a lot of lightning in Texas at the moment. I don't know what's going on.
That's going to be known as the lightning interview. Full of energy, full of insights, full of light to illuminate the path for new leaders. Huh? Think about that.
I love it. I think it's great.
Okay. So we're still waiting for your image, but your sound is great. Yeah. And there you go. I can see you now. And now, my friend, as we are facing this challenging times here, let me ask you one very specific question about, I remember I had several good leaders in my life. And before becoming a speaker 27 years ago, and during my career as a speaker as well, I would like you to share with me a few lessons, 1, 2, or 3 main lessons you got from your mentors, your coaches, the leaders you had in your life, right? So what were the top 3 lessons that you got from your leaders?
Give me a topic. I mean, there's so much. Wow. And you're really opening the floor to someone who's an old teacher to say, hey, what are your top 3 lessons? I'm like, oh, so many.
Yeah. I like to ask those questions that make you stop, pause, and search in your brain, right? In your memories. Right. So let's say lessons about how to be a good human being, lessons about how to be a good leader, lessons about how to understand people.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. I think lesson number 1, and this is where I start with a lot of people, is that everything is totally not your fault, right? Like when you were born and how you grew up and everything that you've got until now, it's not your fault. It is a nervous system response to the world to do one job, which is to keep you alive. That's it, right? So your success may be limited by an old resistance pattern, and that's okay. Learn to love these patterns, learn to accept them, but we can upgrade. 0 to 10, we get like a software, which is going to be childhood protection. 10 to 25, we get childhood group or community software, right? So that's, software 2.0, and we need to upgrade to 3.0. And that's where real fulfillment and success lies. But a lot of people blame themselves. They think that they are their response to stress. And that is something, I think that's a big lesson. It's like, you are not your stress response. That is not you. That is a pattern that, yes, you have, and that you will always have a relationship with that pattern, but you are not that pattern. So that for me is lesson number 1. Then lesson number 2 is that happiness, positive emotions are actually muscles. They are things you can take to the gym, right? So for most people, they're like, what are you talking about? And I say, all right, I want you to think about 5 things recently that made you smile. And if you think about them, it'll make you smile to think about them.
Uh-huh.
And then I want you to say, what are 5 things that you could smile about if you saw them walking around in your town? And now you start to get to this, almost like you're projecting a future smile. You're like, okay, if I see a dog, I will smile. And when you see a dog randomly in the street, surprise, you will smile. So it's a muscle. It's literally something that you can exercise, and you can grow your capacity to have these positive emotions.
Let's make a test. I'll grab a dog, see if you smile. Hold on a sec. Where's the dog? Let me grab a dog here. let's make a test to see if our audience will smile as well. Let me see if they smile with this dog here. Hey, dog.
Oh,
Oh, you grab your dog as well. This is Muffin, ladies and gentlemen. Muffin is the king of the house. Muffin's 3 years old. And his is the smallest dog, but he is the boss of everybody here. He's the leader. Right, Muffin? Okay, so if our audience were able to smile, it's because it works. So
you see, that's it, 100%. You know, and people say, but like, what's the point of that if you're at work? There are no dogs, or you're almost like distracting yourself. But people who are in positive mindsets or positive emotional spaces, they actually make better decisions. They're more creative. You know, the actual thinking that you do when you have a smile on your face, when your body is in a positive state of mind, a positive state of body, let's say, is actually, your thinking is much more open.
You're right.
So I think that's lesson number 2, is this idea of cultivate your positive muscles, cultivate them, you know, take them to the gym. And I would say then I've got 2 more lessons. Lesson number 3 is before. Yeah,
I'm going to show my other dog. You must see. What does I say?
Oh yeah. So Muffin was not enough. We need more.
Come on, Chloe. Let me show you to our audience. Come on. Come on. Oh, hold on a second. Just relax. Yeah, you're gonna be on the show. Come on. This is Chloe. Come on, Chloe. This way. Chloe, come on. Big dog. She's so excited now. I'm gonna have to show her. Hey, come here. Yeah, this is Chloe. Come on, Chloe. Come on. Yeah.
Oh, Chloe, so excited.
How old is more interesting playing with the other one now. It's all right. So let's go to lesson number 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Sure.
From Justin Noppe.
So lesson number 3 is actually this interaction between you and the world. And so for a lot of people, this is where it can get religious, but without getting religious, you can just say that it's your interaction with feedback loop with the world. The world provides you with situations that are like ingredients, and it's your job to choose what you want to cook with those ingredients. So it's almost like saying God is your personal shopper and supplies your kitchen, and your job is to make the best food that you want for yourself for that day. That's it.
I'm sorry. Amazing. I like that a lot. So let's summarize the 3 lessons. Lesson number 1.
So lesson number 1 is you are not your negative emotions.
Lesson number 2.
Lesson number 2 is you can cultivate positive emotions. Take your positive emotions to the gym.
And lesson number 3.
Lesson number 3 is learn to cook with the world.
Perfect. Accept everything you have available to you and make the best recipe.
Exactly.
possible.
Like, these are resources, and it's my job to put them together and put them in specific ways. And then I would say
for
that
you watching now live or later, please write your comments about those lessons here, okay? And you're gonna have all links to Justin Noppe's websites and everything else in our description here later. So when you're watching this, probably is gonna be already there. Down the video, you're gonna see all the links to know more about Justin Noppe and everything that he can help us achieve. Now, Justin, let's go to the final session of our interview, where I want you to give our audience some action steps they can take immediately to improve their lives if they want.
To improve anybody's life, step number 1 is awareness, always. Right? There's a 4-step process that I run everybody through: awareness, acceptance, ownership, choice.
Say that again. Awareness,
acceptance, ownership, choice.
I like it.
Okay. So awareness is like, we need to know exactly what's going on. So if you're like, oh, you know what, I want to lose weight or something like this. Okay. Awareness. How often are you eating? What are you eating? How much does that weigh? You know, like, how many calories is it? Blah, 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 blah. You know, if you are not measuring something, if you are not aware of how much is coming in, how much is going out, it's very difficult to change. So there is no judgment around this, but it's just about, let's raise awareness. So it's the same with negative emotions. How often do I speak negatively? If I'm a leader, I need to know how often do I actually go to a place of stress, maybe anger or frustration? How regularly do I do it? So my number one suggestion, that's a take home for anyone who wants to start change, is create a type of journal at the end of every day. Have a conversation, right? Contemplation or journal. Those are my 3 action steps for anyone who wants change. Conversation, contemplation, journaling. And ask yourself on a daily basis, how much did I blah, blah, blah? And every day, asking that question, you're much more aware during the day as well. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is no judgment. Hey, if you're eating 5,000 calories and you need to be eating 2,000 calories, that's okay. It's your habits, it's a pattern. The brain automates everything. And so you've just automated this because you did not focus on it. It's not because you're a bad person. It's not because you deserve it or something like that. There is always a reason. And that reason usually is rooted in love. Your body is trying to protect you. It loves you very much. You're trying to survive, So that's it. Yeah, I think that's a good practical start.
I like it. I like it very much. And I wish we had more and more time to explore more, but we gave our audience enough to start and to get to know you a little bit. If you're watching, so this is Justin Noppe, my fabulous guest today in our talk show, Fabulous with Fabio. Remember, you're going to watch this in YouTube channel. You're going to listen to this in our podcast, Powerful Insights for Business. And if you want to be part of the show, just go to fabulouswithfabio.com to know more about the guidelines to be part of the show. I want to thank Justin a lot for what you shared with us today. Let me put us together here just a second. Yeah, I want to thank you a lot for everything that you shared. I want to thank you for everything that you have done already. And I really hope that we can continue working together, building this evolution mindset in everybody so we can become a better civilization, right? With people less stressed, more emotionally stable, and of course, making friends along the way. Thank you once again. If you want to say your final message, feel free, my friend. The space is yours.
No message. If people got something from this, that's amazing. Mission accomplished. Thank you very much for making this possible and opening up this avenue of conversation. So yeah, appreciate you, my friend.
You deserve it. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you again. And remember to subscribe, like, do whatever you know what to do. You're not new in YouTube anymore. All right. I wish all of you health and wealth, everything, all the best to you, Justin. Let's keep doing what we're doing so we can change the world for the better. All right?
Absolutely. Take care.